fellow nurse entrepreneurs. One of the things that I've always wanted to do was I always wanted to help nurses work from anywhere, pretty much have that flexibility, pretty much have that freedom so that they could do whatever they wanted to do.
Joining VP Nursing was one of the best decisions that I could have ever made. If I was to have a regret, it would be that I didn't join sooner.
If they wanted to be with their children, if they wanted to be with their families, they can do exactly what they wanted to do.
Ola is the type of person, she's not going to let you stay the same. The way she levels up her clients in every area of their lives.
I could not have imagined being a nurse with my own business, being in this space with so many amazing people, with a coach that 1,000,000% cares about what my outcome is going to be.
And so here at VP Nursing, we teach nurses how to work from their computers anywhere around the world, making money, owning their own time, building profitable nurse coaching, consulting, and service-based businesses. And so now we're at the beach and we're working at the beach and we're having a great time. We're doing a brand photo shoot. It's an amazing time. So if you want to learn how to work from anywhere around the world, creating that flexibility, creating that freedom for yourself, but monetizing the knowledge that you already have, join us at VP Nursing Business Academy. Hey everyone, so I am joining you ladies and gentlemen today from Maui. Okay, so we are in Maui. I just want to show this to you. This is where we are. We're having an amazing time. And I just wanted to, because, it's always been my desire, since I understood that you could do this, to help other nurses be able to do this, whether you have a coaching, consulting, or service-based businesses. So first of all, I ask that you you share, and you comment on this, because I want to make sure that we're getting this out to as many people as we can. The second thing, though, is that I want to ensure you that when you are in business, sometimes there are some sacrifices that you have to make. So we're going to talk about those things. So we're going to talk about the 12 things that you have to do. And I'm going to be referring to my phone right here because I've got my notes on my phone. The 12 principles in building a powerful nurse business. Are y'all good with that? Where you can, the nurse CEO rules of building a life that you don't have to take a vacation from. And that's one of the things that I've always wanted to do, is I want to build a life that I don't have to take a vacation from. So number one is that you have to own the room by owning your identity. All right. And so this is the number one thing. You know who you are. You know exactly who you are. You know what expertise you bring to the table. So you need to own the room. I think sometimes what happens with nurses is that whenever you go into nursing and you're the expert in the room, you walk into that room like you're the expert. Like when you walk into a room where a patient is coding, or you walk into a room where a patient is in distress, when you walk into that room, you're the expert in that room. And so you walk into that room with this identity, and you're like, well, and everybody's looking to you. What happens a lot of times whenever you go into business, what happens is you walk into the room and you're not necessarily the expert in the room in business, but you are the expert in the room as it relates to how you, like, your expertise, right? And that's the one thing that you have to learn. You're starting at the bottom of the mountain when it comes to running the business, but you're not starting at the bottom of the mountain when it comes to your expertise. So you have to understand that. You have to understand that don't be shrinking whenever you walk into a room. Walk into that room like you own it, right? And especially whenever you're consulting and you're doing business to business, sometimes that can be intimidating, right? But the reality is that it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, because you have the expertise that they need in order to solve their problems. All right. That's number one. Number two is expect to win every time you step into a room. Expect it. Don't walk into a room and be like, well, I don't know whether I'm going to win. And this is the reality, guys. And this is the one thing that you have to know. The only way that you lose is if you stop. The only way that you lose is if you stop. You win every single time you walk anywhere and you do anything. I was recently on the sales calls, and I was with this young lady, and she said, well, I'm not sure whether I can do it. I said, well, did you become an LPN? She said, yes. I said, did you become an RN? She said, yes. I said, did you win that? And so she was like, yeah, because either you're going to learn or you're going to win, succeed, right? But either way, you're winning, because at the end of the day, as long as you don't stop, you're in the good business. Okay. So just know that. Number three move fast. This is the one thing that I think a lot of people like, they're just like chilling, especially if you're comfortable in your own job, which I don't expect you to go out here and I don't want you to not stay at your job. Like your job is typically your number one funder prior to you getting into business. That's your number one funder. Because your job is your number one funder prior to you getting into business, then there's this comfort that lies there. Don't let that comfort lie. Like, be very intentional about getting out, because let me tell you something. If God brought you to it, then he's going to bring you through it. However, he's not going to let it sit with you in your comfort zone. I promise you that. He's going to move on to someone else who has the ability to take care of the thing that you should have been taking care of yourself, right? And so the one thing that you have to understand is that whenever you move fast, and I'm going to compare this to, I'm going to say two things about this. Number one, I'm going to compare this to whenever you walk into a room with a patient. You walk into a room with a patient, if the patient is coding, if the patient is in severe distress, if the patient has things that are going on, you have to move fast in order to make sure that that patient doesn't die. It's the same way in your business. You have to make sure that you are moving fast all the time. And if you don't take advantage of the thing that God put in front of you, I promise you, you're gonna give it to somebody else. And so for me, when I was in healthcare, like as long as I was at the bedside, everything was all good. I was a great clinician. But once I got into leadership, there was one thing that I did know was that they were, they were a little bit different when it came to handling me, right? So we had a director over us, and then there were two managers, right? It was me and this other young lady. And the other young lady, her numbers were crappy. Mine were good. I had built out this whole community paramedic program, but the director was meeting with her every single solitary day. And I saw the writing on the wall. Like, I saw it. And I was like, they're grooming her for this position because this director was not normally supposed to be the director of this particular department, right? They were grooming her for the department that we were in. And because they were grooming her for this particular position, because of that, I knew that God brought me to this business and I needed to work it out. So I wrote my 6 months resignation letter. Now, I didn't give it to him, obviously, then, but I wrote it. And then I went and worked hard on the business because I knew that if God brought me to it, then he was going to bring me through it and he was going to make it happen. Number 4, understand that your growth will attract attention. And when it attracts attention, let me tell you something. There are some mean people online. Don't read the comments. Or you can read the comments and then just delete the comments. Don't let people stop you from doing the thing that you need to do. Like, I remember this, I did the very same thing when I first started. I was coaching from, I want to say it was probably Myrtle Beach because we like to go there a lot. But I was coaching from Myrtle Beach, and this young, she's probably older than I am. However, she came into my comments. I thought was a friend. And what she said was, you're taking nurses from the bedside. No, I'm not. I'm not taking nurses from the bedside. Like, I'm just making the healthcare system a lot better than what it used to be. Because at the end of the day, what you have to understand is that when you go into coaching and consulting, you're advancing, you're helping, you're innovating within the healthcare system. You're not distracting from it. So there's no reason to think that. So don't think when people come into your comment section, you can either address it or you can block them. One of the two. Really doesn't matter. I mean, at the end of the day, it is your business. It is your time. You get the ability to do that thing. You get the ability to be able to block them no matter what. Number 5, guard your time like it's your highest currency. And what I mean by that, and I struggle sometimes, especially when I'm on vacation, right? Because I really like I like what I do, actually, right? And so the reality is that you have to guard your time. So that means stop scrolling. Like, if you're going to scroll on TikTok or if you're going to scroll on Facebook, at least post something, right? At least let the people know who you are. So, TV or the TV out the house, right? Don't let that be the thing that hogs your time so that you're not building your business. Because at the end of the day, you have to be very intentional. And it's okay when you tell people no. Like, people are so vested in other people that they can't even build their own life because they're so vested in taking care of other people and taking care of other people's business, right? But you have to realize that in order for you to be able to build your business, in order for your business not to die, right? You have to guard your time. Like it's your highest currency. Now, that's another thing. Avoid the crowded path, right? And what I mean by that, this is one it may be different. You may think something different, but what I mean by that is avoid the thing that everybody else would do in order to make more money, right? So as a nurse, typically what other people would do is that they would, go work another shift. Avoid that. Avoid that. And don't, build your business. Don't do the thing that everybody else is doing that's not working, right? Do the thing that will build your business. And it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel, because going in and working another shift feels very comfortable. But building your business is going to feel very uncomfortable. But that's okay. You build the business anyway. Now we're going to go to commercial break for a second. We're going to be talking about this, our conference that's coming up. Go ahead and sign up for it. Okay, here we go.
Stop renewing your license just to stay broke. Every renewal season, nurses pay fees, take classes, and check boxes, but never build wealth. That license you're renewing every 2 years, it's a gold mine if you stop using it the old way. At the Millionaire Nurse CEO Conference, you'll learn how to leverage that same license to build your own business, to coach, to consult, and to create offers that bring freedom, not fatigue. And yes, you'll still earn CEUs. Comment conference below and we'll send you the details.
Now go ahead and comment conference below so we can send you the details. Now, number 7, know exactly why you're doing this. That's huge. Because a lot of times people do it for money. And let me tell you something. Once the money starts coming in, if you don't like what you're doing, you're going to stop. Ooh, I'm sweating. So you have to be very intentional about knowing exactly the reason why you're doing what you're doing. Like, don't get caught up doing something that you don't like for the rest of your life. I love what I'm doing. So know exactly what you're doing, because I can guarantee you want to do it for your purpose. Now, when I say do it for your purpose, you still have a fiduciary responsibility to your business. So you still need to charge for the services that you provide, period. Because a lot of people hear purpose and they're like, well, I don't need to charge for it because it comes so easy to me. No, baby, you need to charge for that. You have to be very intentional about charging for what you do, because if you don't, your business will fail. Without money, your business will fail, period. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that, okay? Number 8, stay committed until the mission is fulfilled, right? Stay committed to that thing. And a lot of times what happens is people are like, well, I don't know. Stay committed. Even after the desire. Let me tell you something. Y'all hear that? Them roosters? Like apparently they're the bird for the island. Anyway, they're everywhere. Anyway, so stay committed. Number 9, build your business on evidence and not emotion. Okay? So some people will be like, well, I feel like I'm not making any money. Well, how much money did you make in the last quarter? How much money did you make in the last month? Right? I feel like I'm not, or they'll say, because some people are pre-revenue, right? But some people who are making revenue, they'll be like, well, I don't feel like I'm making as much money this month as I did last month. Well, what's that feeling like? What does that look like? How much money did you actually make? Money, numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. Men and women lie. Numbers don't lie. So, or they'll be like, well, I don't feel like I'm getting in as many leads. I don't feel like I'm getting in as many sales. Well, what are the numbers? What are the numbers like? Don't build it off of emotion. Build it off of evidence. That's evidence. When you get the numbers, that's evidence, right? And that's one of the things that we teach you in the program is to build your business off of evidence. Now, 10, do the unsexy work that builds real wealth. There's a lot of things that you're going to be doing. Let me tell you something. It's unsexy. For example, like if you own, you own your business, right? You own a business in another state. Well, when you own a business in another state, you have to file to do business as in that state. That's unsexy work. When you File for your EIN. That's unsexy work. When you go and you get your bank account that you have to have separate from your own personal account, that's unsexy work. Whenever you own a home in another state and the home, you want to put the home in a trust, you have to do it from that state unless your attorney has a license in that state. That's unsexy work. When you're building your business and you have to put in your numbers every day, when you have to make sure that your numbers are aligning every day, that's unsexy work. Be clear about that. Unsexy work. But it's the work that will get you to where you need to be. You have to be intentional about doing the unsexy work. My phone just died because it was too hot. So now, sales is service. Also understand that sales is service. All right, be clear about that. And that thing will help you in any space, right? Sales is service. Because if you don't sell to them, somebody else will sell to them, and they may not have the integrity that you do. And I used to always think too, is that like I used to always think that I just didn't have, I couldn't, I never sold to anyone. I'm not a salesperson because I come to the emergency department regardless, right? But the reality is that I used to sell to people all the time because I believed in the medication that I was given. So if somebody comes in there and they are diabetic, the reality is that if they're diabetic, I'm going to sell to them every single solitary day to get this insulin. They're in DKA. You need this insulin drip. If they don't believe in it, then I'm going to sell them on it, right? Same concept. You just have to be, you have to have that. And also strengthen your mental durability. Like, don't let everything make you want to quit. Don't let everything make you want to stop. Strengthen that. Now, those are my 12 things to build a business where you don't have to take vacation from. Part of it. There's many more, many more. But I invite you to sign up for our next masterclass. It's going to be amazing. You can go to vpnursing.com and sign up on our masterclass link, and we will see you there. Again, like, share, and comment so that you can build the life that you want to live, that you don't have to take a vacation from. I just don't have to take a vacation from my life, and I love it. So you have an amazing rest of your day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.